you so much, Charlotte. I appreciate you so much for having me. This is my first time in Halifax. I am a Jersey girl, so I am so excited to be here. First off, I want to start by saying there is a total and complete opposite story to what you guys heard that I want to give you, because I think it's so important for us to know where it all started, right? We want to know the root. We want to know how I got there. We want to know how you got that amazing, incredible, beautiful bio that I always love hearing, because as Charlotte said, it's important for us to own up and say, yes, I am amazing. I am incredible. I am a leader in my community, correct? Absolutely. However, the story did not always start that way, right? I was born and raised in a very small town in New Jersey called Camden. And I'm not sure if anyone has heard of that, because it has had a lot of national news, because it is the #1 most impoverished city in the country. It has been #1 in violence. It has been #1 in crime, in homicides, and in drugs. And we all can't determine where our journey is going to start, correct? Absolutely. So I was born and raised in a single-parent household as well. I did not establish a relationship with my father until a few years ago, and that's doing much better than not being there at all for many, many years. I also was molested. I was abused as a teenager. I was assaulted. But my mom, thank God for her, she always made God, education, and respect first in her household. So I always tell people, listen, I tell people all the time, I was born and raised in Camden, but I lived in Linda Gant's house. And that's what made the difference. My mother, she was incredible. So when I turned 18, I got accepted to all the schools I applied to. And the one school that I got a full ride to was on the West Coast. So room, board, books, and 2 flights home a year. But my mother was so terrified. What if something happens to you? What if I can't get to you? What if something happens here and you can't get home? Because of her own fears, and we'll talk about being fearless today, that she, I don't want to use the word discourage me from going, but she made it almost impossible for me to feel positive about going. So I stayed in Camden, went to Rutgers University, which is an amazing school. It's one of the #1 schools in the country. It's a state school. But it kind of felt like the 13th grade, because all of the kids in the community still went to that school because it was close, even though it was a really incredible school. So I ended up being around the same people, involved in the same things, and thank God for a Boys and Girls Club. I was still able to kind of stay on the right track. But then, my sophomore year, I had 5 deaths in 1 year. 3 family members, 2 friends, and 3 of those were homicides. So you want to talk about losing your mind, losing your faith, losing your hope. It was a very difficult time, and needless to say, I could not I didn't have the ability to maintain my emotional stability in order to continue the success that I was having in the education and academic field. So a counselor pulled me to the side and she said, what's going on? And I told her what happened, and she suggested that I take a semester off. And 1 semester turned to 2 semesters, turned to 3, turned to 4, turned to, I don't really know if I really need college. I'm doing well in the banking industry, and, I could get into President's Club and get into Diamond's Club, and I could retire at 30, right? That's what they tell you. So I was so depressed at that time, though, and we all know that when you don't have the self-confidence, it's very easy for people to come into your life and take advantage of that. So I always say I dropped out of school, but I dropped into an abusive relationship. So, dropped out of school, I'm in an abusive relationship, and now because I'm not working as much, not getting the commission that I was originally getting, and just in a very, very dark place. And we're going to talk about how I got out of that dark place and how you guys are going to reestablish your life and wherever you are and go wherever it is that you want to go. So the first thing that I had to do for myself, get off of my best friend's couch, right? Smooching off of her. I had to define what that life looked like for me. Half of us can't get to where we want to go because we haven't defined what that life looks like. The end goal has to be the first goal. You have to establish what your life looks like down to the most minute details. When I dream big, but I also dream small. I know what every single detail of my life looks like. Because you have to give the universe the map. The universe can't shift people, places, and things in order to meet you where you are unless the universe knows exactly what you want, right? That makes sense. So as I began my career, went back to school, graduated at the top of my class, went back to get my master's, started working at CBS. I was living the life of my dreams. One of my best friends died of a drug overdose. So now I'm back at square one. Like, what's happening? I was doing so well. I moved out of Camden. I'm up in New York now. Everything's so wonderful. And I lost where I was again. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start doing workshops. So I started doing workshops. I went back to Camden. I started teaching. I started speaking. And I loved it. I said, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is where I'm supposed to be, on this stage, talking to you guys. And people kept asking me, well, how did you get out of the bad relationship? How did you restore your relationship with your mother and your father? How did you go back to school and graduate at the top of your class? How did you go back and get your master's? How did you create this amazing life? So I decided to write this book, Stop, Drop, and Roll, Life-Changing Tools for Success. Do you guys know what Stop, Drop, and Roll is? What does it mean? When you're in a fire. Absolutely, right? How many of us feel like we're in a fire? Whether it's at your job, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with your kids. I felt like I was in a fire. I couldn't breathe because of the smoke. I couldn't see. I had no clarity about life and what exactly I wanted to do until I started speaking and teaching. So the journey to that incredible, amazing, wonderful bio starts here. Stop procrastinating. Create a sense of urgency in your life. I know urgency. You know why? Because over the past years, I've suffered 7 deaths. More than that, actually, last year. I had a rough year, too. Losing my brother, losing some mentors. One of my best girlfriends lost her dad. Another one lost her mom. So I know what urgency is. I know that I have to wake up every single day and know that this is the day. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, but today. Because we all have gifts. There is a seed planted in each and every one of us that God has given us that says, this is what you're supposed to do. It comes easy. It's natural. Whatever makes you feel good, whatever you can do the easiest, whatever brings you the most joy, that's what you're supposed to be doing. But it's procrastination that stops us from really living in our greatness. The second one is dropping negativity and really creating an optimistic life and the lifestyle. And last but not least, being able to roll with the punches and have unwavering faith. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to go through it. So let's start at the top. Stop procrastinating. What are some of the reasons why we procrastinate? Fear. That's all we're going to be talking about today, right? How can we be fearless, right? Give me some other reasons why. Fear of what, though? Failure. Success. That's a really good one. And people, when I would say that, they didn't understand, like, what do you mean fear of success? For me, I didn't see a lot of women who were entrepreneurs, who were successful, or anyone in my community that was really doing what I aspired to do. So when I started achieving these levels of success, I felt like I was carrying the weight of my city on my back. And then everyone started to watch me and say, well, what is she doing? And now I felt like, oh, man, I can't even go out to the club and, turn up the way I want to because people will be watching me now. That's the type of fear I'm feeling. I want to be able to live my life without anybody caring, what I'm wearing or how much I'm dancing. But fear of success. So we talked about fear of failure. We talked about fear of success. What else? What other reasons do we procrastinate? Change. What else? Perfectionist. What else? lack of motivation. So we're going to talk about how we can combat those things, right? So we have fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of inadequacy, and financial. I heard a lot of women here raise their hand who were business owners, right? That number is really, really big for women. However, the money that derives from those businesses are not the same, right? Because we have these amazing ideas and we get a logo and we get a website and we don't have a business plan. We don't have a financial plan. We're like, yeah, we're business owners. I'm selling cupcakes now. This is amazing. But we don't really set ourselves up to have the financial success that we're looking for as well. So we have fear of all of these things, and we're going to talk about a couple of ways that we can combat that. The first thing is, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to know everything. You will learn and grow as you go. It's natural. Leap and the net will appear. That is a test of your faith. That's what that is. You have to believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that whatever it is that you're trying to do, it will work. And that the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, will put the necessary tools and people and places all together to meet you where you are. You have to believe that. You have to know that in your heart, or else you will be permanently tied down to wherever you currently are. And is that acceptable? Absolutely not. What you want has to be worth way more to you than where you currently are. Because then, when you leave here, you have the information. If you continue to procrastinate, it becomes a choice. Does that make sense? Then you begin to choose to stay where you are because it's easier than facing the fears, correct? Failure is nothing but experience. I know a whole lot of ways things don't work, believe me. I was just learning today. I was like, honey, I don't think I factored in the conversion rate. I'm about to give away a whole lot of books on a discount. This is one of the first times outside of webinars and online. She's like, girl, look, all y'all who came to the desk early, y'all got a discount. See? I don't know about the rest of y'all. Sorry. So you learn on the go. It's all about experiences, right? Oh, it's all about the experience and the journey. This is the thing. If you shy away from the failure, you won't learn. Each and every failure allows you to fail to the next level. So now you know, okay, this works, this doesn't, great. So the next time I'm going to do this, change that, move this around, and go to the next level. But you have to experience those things in order to get there, right? I had to take the leap and move from my city. I didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't know how I was going to support myself. I didn't know what I moved about maybe almost 2 hours away from my home. I didn't have any family there. I didn't have any friends there. I just went. And every single thing I needed, every single person who was supposed to be on that journey with me was there. There was one time, one of my last semesters, and I had spent all of the money in my savings account. I got the internship at CBS, didn't have anywhere to live, and because I was at school full time and the internship was full time, I really couldn't work. So I was like, do I give up this internship at CBS or do I go back home? Going back home wasn't an option. I stressed about it, I was worried about it, and anybody who knows New York knows. Somebody sent me an ad, it was like $1,200, like 5 roommates, no bathroom, 5-floor walk-up. I was like, what is this? For $1,200? So living in New York wasn't an option. And this lady came up to me, she said, Lena, She said, you know what, baby girl, you always look so well put together. Your hair is always done. You always look so beautiful. But for the last couple of weeks, you've been looking a little disheveled, baby. You all right? And I was like, I don't have anywhere. I'm not going to have anywhere to live. And I got this internship, and I don't know what to do. And she was like, well, I had a foreign exchange student who was going to live on the 3rd floor of my home, and she's not coming this semester. You're more than welcome to stay with us. What are the chances? Let God show up in your life. Let the universe come to your rescue. It can't show up and show you how amazing it is if you don't test it out, right? If you don't rely on it, it can't show up. She said, come meet my husband, have dinner, we'll talk. She was a minister. And she had done so much work for so many people up until that point. And I ended up moving in with her. Great experience. I love her to death. Guess what? I got a family. I got friends. Had Thanksgiving with them. And her family treated me like family. Her business partners treated me like business partners. It was amazing. So I grew a network by relying on my faith and showing up when I was supposed to. And not procrastinating, just moving when I was supposed to move. All right? So now we're going to drop the negativity. This is where I lose people. Y'all, this is where I lose people. Lord, where's Lindsay at? Come back, Lindsay. Let's do some meditation. This is where I lose people. Completely turning your life around requires you to operate in a positive and optimistic space, So I'm not going to get too deep into mindset transformation because Lindsay did a little bit of that, but relying on that gratitude and relying on that appreciation and relying on affirmations. When I was in my dark place, and I know we go through this on a constant basis, right, where like the girl at the coffee shop messes up your coffee and you act like she destroyed, like your whole entire life. And you're like, I asked for 2 sugars and a creamer. And she's like, because it's not her doing it, right? There's something else. There's another reason why we're upset. And you can't heal what you don't reveal. So a part of dropping the negativity is allowing yourself to drop the old you, old habits, old ways of thinking, old ways of looking at things, bad perceptions, right? It's having the capability to control your circumstances in a way that you won't let the little things bother you. And when you practice that enough, when the big things come, you'll be like, that's all right. I got this because I'm amazing, because I'm strong, because I can handle any challenge that comes my way, because I have faith. Does that make sense? Yes. Practice it. The next time somebody says something to you that you don't like, what that got to do with me? Half the time, it's them. They don't got nothing to do with me. They mad. Half the time when people hurt you, they mistreat you, it's them that's hurting. It's not you. So why respond with that same equal energy of negativity? Then we get to this first category, where we're mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically tied to toxic people. That's why I lose people. Because we're so in love with the people that hurt us the most. And we don't want to detach them from our lives to step over into our greatness. Some people are holding you back and you don't even know it. My mother once told me, I think it would really be best if we no longer spoke to each other or see each other. I think that would be the solution. Because she was hurt and she doesn't know how to deal with conflict, hurt, or negative emotions. Right? But sometimes you have to create boundaries for people in your life who are not supporting you, who don't encourage you, who don't believe in your dreams. My type of dreams, some people can't even fathom what I want to do. Oprah, who's Oprah? I'm Lena. I'm Lena. I love Oprah, though, by the way. I love her. I love her. Oprah, call me. Call me. Call me, Oprah. Call me. Don't get it confused. But I'm just saying, some people can't fathom your dreams, so they can't support you, they can't love you, they can't encourage you, because they can't even conceive what you want to do. Does that make sense? Places and things, places can be easy. Some of us need to stop shopping. If we have financial goals, leave those shoes right where they are. And things are choices and things that we know don't support our dreams, right? And last but not least, we've said it time and time again. Strengthen your faith. Learn how to roll with the punches. And really, whatever it is, whether it's meditation, praying, journaling, loving on yourself, whatever that faith source is for you, tap into it, because that is where your strength lies, that resilience. And I always tell people, I don't want regular resilience, where you just go through something and you bounce back. I want brilliant resilience, where I shine all the way through it, and I inspire others to do the same. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Charlotte. I appreciate you. Thank you.